Today we're going to do creative writing lesson 8 on punctuation. So, hope you're having a good day. So, punctuation variation. To do really well, you have to be able to vary your punctuation. And the punctuation is really important. To help you think about how important punctuation is, let's think about inventing your own new piece of punctuation. What would you call it? What would it look like? And what would it do? So they've put there the sentox, haven't they? Which would say when your voice goes up like that. Anyway, so the aim here is to understand how to use sophisticated punctuation devices, and to be able to explain the effects of punctuation, and to be able to use it as well. A grade A or A star has to show an appropriate and effective variation of sentence structure and a sophisticated use of simple and compound and complex sentences to achieve particular effects, and accurate punctuation to vary pace, clarify meaning, avoid ambiguity, and create deliberate effects. So that's really sophisticated punctuation structures. B to C is going to be looking at B to C less
a range of grammatical
sophisticated
structures
punctuation,
used to
but
vary the
here's
length and breadth of
and
sentences.
a sentence structure,
Simple,
but
compound, and
nevertheless
complex
some
sentences are
interesting
used
stuff.
to achieve
Effects, and a variety of punctuation is used. Sophisticated punctuation. Here's a whole picture of sophisticated punctuation. It's full stops, commas. It's about 8 types or 10 types. You've got dialogue, speech marks, semicolons, colons, brackets, dashes, ellipsis, question marks, and the exclamation mark. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 types of punctuation there. So if you vary your punctuation and think about using sophisticated punctuation. So you need to insert punctuation into the following sentences where you think appropriate. Slow children crossing. Look at that huge hot dog. Go get him, doctors. After we left Grandma, Dad and I went to the cinema. James walked on his head a little higher than usual. What is this thing called honey? The student said the teacher is crazy. As you can see, it's almost impossible to read those sentences because there's actually no punctuation in it. So that's a really good lesson, isn't it? Slow children crossing. Is it slow children crossing? Yeah, slow children crossing. Slow children crossing. Yeah, so there's 2 different meanings, isn't it? Look at that huge hot dog. Look at that. Look at that huge hot dog. So yeah, you can use it all different ways. Go get him the doctors. Go get him doctors. So yeah, read the sentences below and discuss with the partner the effects of having the punctuation in different places. How does punctuation affect meaning? Oh, I've just done those, haven't I? Slow children crossing. Slow children crossing. Look at that huge hot dog. Look at that huge hot dog. Go get him doctors. Go get him doctors. After we left Grandma, Dad and I went to the cinema. After we left Grandma, Dad and I went to the cinema. Now read the sentences below and discuss with the partner the effect of having the commas in different places. How does punctuation affect meaning? James walked on his head a little higher than usual. James walked on his head a little higher than usual. No, James walked on his head a little higher, so he's looking very proud, isn't he? What is this thing called honey? I don't understand this thing called honey. That runny stuff. What is this thing called honey? That's a term of endearment. The student said the teacher is crazy. The student, comma, said the teacher, comma, is crazy. Opposite meaning. So, which punctuation device do you feel least confident about? Dash, brackets, colon, or semicolon? Mr. Bruff has got lots of really interesting stuff on all of this for you, so you can go and look at this up, but this is just a quick run through. A dash is not the same as a hyphen, though they are the same on a computer keyboard. A hyphen goes inside compound words like warm up or mother-in-law. Notice there is no space between the letters and the hyphen. A dash goes between words. It is actually a longer line than a hyphen, and it should have a space before and after the line, like this. Look up Mr. Bruff, he's really good on dashes and hyphens anyway. But you should actually be able to use dashes and hyphens, please. All right. Dash. When should you use a dash? Use a dash to separate a sentence where there is an interruption that disrupts the flow. A dash adds emphasis. I like dashes. Girls like dashes. Well, Jane Austen liked dashes, as Mr. Bruff, you'll see, points out. Jamie doesn't find Kirsty attractive, or so he says. We could put Jamie doesn't find Kirsty attractive, dash, or so he says. All bands desire fame and fortune, dash. Some even achieve it, but it's easier said than done. Put another dash there, I think, probably. Some even achieve it, dash, but it's easier said than done. Brackets are used when you want to add information to a sentence which will give greater detail. Unlike dashes, the information is extra and not really necessary, which means that it can be removed without damaging the original information. Barack Obama, comma, bracket, the President of the United States, bracket, is now no longer the president. Anyway, I'm going quite fast through this, aren't I? But anyway, one thing to remember, any full stop at the end goes with the sentence it closes. If the sentence is wholly inside the brackets, then the full stop should come before the closing bracket. This rule looks like this. If the bracket is within a sentence, then the full stop comes after the closing bracket. Bracket like this, close bracket, full stop. So colons, again, look at Mr. Bruff for brackets, look at Mr. Bruff for colons. Colons are quite hard to use and most people get them wrong, by the way, so I strongly suggest you look up colons. A colon can be used in a couple of ways: to introduce a list, as I did in above, to join two complete sentences where the second explains or follows the first. For example, that is the secret to my extraordinary life. So that is the secret to my extraordinary life, colon, always do the unexpected. So you've got the complete sentence, that is the secret to my extraordinary life, and then always do the unexpected is sort of a command or an order or an imperative. Always do the unexpected is the second part, but they're complete sentences on their own, and not just that. Yeah. They're quite sophisticated. So try and use a colon. Look up Mr. Bruff on colons, and go to Bristol University website, and it gives you tests to see if you can do colons, and it has really good stuff on colons, the Bristol University website. Okay, so semicolons. You can use a semicolon when you write two separate sentences which should have a full stop or a connective such as because or as between them, and you'd like to keep them closely linked. You could say David is doing poorly in school, semicolon, his parents have grounded him. Or David is doing poorly in school since his parents have grounded him. Or but David is doing poorly in school, so his parents have grounded him, actually. I went to the supermarket today. I bought bananas and apples. You can have, I went to the supermarket today, semicolon, I bought bananas and apples. Oh, I went to the supermarket today. What connector could you use there? Anyway, some sort of conjunction you could use there. So think about what you might want to improve yourself here. So basically, is it colons, semicolons? Find Mr. Bruff on them and look up and take notes. So improving your writing. The ride is surrounded by darkness. I can't see the name properly. So what could you put there? Probably semicolon. Everything was quite normal. I had a good breakfast. I watched my favourite TV program. I went to work. Everything was quite normal. Semicolon. I had a good breakfast. I watched my favourite TV program. Blah blah. Just imagine he's right in front of you, and the next minute gone. Just imagine he's right in front of you. I thought you put colon there. The next minute gone, probably, couldn't you? Improving your writing. Read back over your work. Always read back over your work. Can you find a way to effectively incorporate some of these sophisticated punctuation devices into your writing? Remember, these devices should have an effect. Only use ones if you think it will really improve your writing, and be sure to try and use the effect whenever you can. And be aware of using sophisticated punctuation, and try and ensure that you use this. How confident do you feel with using sophisticated punctuation in your writing? If you don't feel confident, as I say, go and look at Mr. Bruff on all of this list of stuff and then start using them. And hopefully, see this learning review here, you should be able to say, at the start of this lesson, I didn't know that I needed to use colons, semicolons, brackets and dashes, and now I do, and I'll look it up on Mr. Bruff. Okay. And even, I can now explain to somebody else that you need colons, semicolons and dashes. All right. Yeah, if you can teach something, you really do know it. And tune in for lesson 9 next. And we'll cover more stuff that you need for descriptive writing and to be really effective. And if you really, really want extra lessons, you can contact me online and have me online. Okay. All right then. Have a lovely day.